A Silent Voice is a story of depression, lost humanity, self-deprecation, and hatred, but it is also a story of redemption. Shoya's story is not one of dramatized coming-of-age or exaggerated triumph. His story is one of realistic, down-to-earth redemption. It's not just Shoya either. Naoka's, Miyoko's, Miki's, and Shoko's stories all convey a similar message. No voice, no matter how distraught, lost, or silent it may be, echoes beyond redemption. Out of all the redemptions shown in the film, Shoya's was by far the most powerful. The movie opened with Shoya taking the first step in his redemption, overcoming self-deprecation and turning away from the temptation to give up on everything. Shoya's actions felt meaningless and shallow as he prepared to end his life. Although every aspect of Shoya's life was meaningful, he viewed it through a flat and static lens. He couldn't see the depth of the things in his life that mattered most until he met up with Shoko for the first time since elementary school. When Shoya reunited with Shoko, he was clearly able to see the value of her in his own life. He pursued her because he had finally seen something with meaning in his life. Shoko was the catalyst to Shoya's redemption. She was the reason he was gradually able to see the meaning of others in his life. When looking back on his past, Shoya couldn't help but feel guilt. The reason he kept on living was to not cause Shoko to feel any more pain than she already had. His one purpose was not to redeem himself in her eyes. It was to learn how to live so that Shoko could move on. Shoya was not trying to undo the awful deeds he had done. He wasn't trying to deny them. He wasn't trying to fix them. He was simply trying to find someone he could confide in so that he could learn to let others confide within him. Shoya wanted to learn how to move forward despite what he had done. He wanted to learn how others could accept him, and he wanted to learn how to see the meaning of his life and the lives of those around him. Shoya needed Shoko as a catalyst to move forward, but he didn't rely on her to do so. He didn't seek redemption. What he sought, and what eventually led him to redemption, was something far more modest. He sought the moral traits he thought he once lacked. He chose to change of his own volition. Shoya believed his life was over, but in reality, it was just beginning. As Shoko tells Miyoko towards the end of the movie, it's never too late to change. Although Shoya was unaware of it, he was the catalyst towards Shoko's redemption. She believed that every problem in others' lives was a result of her existence. She believed she was the reason Shoya's life had fallen apart, especially after Naoka bluntly stated that she was indeed the reason. She wanted to end her life because of her overwhelming self-deprecation and self-loathing. When Shoya saved her life, she realized that she had to learn to love herself so that she could change and repair the relationship she thought she had ruined. She couldn't change the past, but that didn't mean ending her life would solve anything. In order to repair what she had destroyed, she had to be there, establish new bonds with the people she hurt, and learn to love herself so that she could let others love her. It took quite some time for her to do so, but Shoko still did choose to change. She didn't just wait around for the change to come. Naoka's redemption arc was one of the smaller ones, but that doesn't mean the themes of it should be undermined in any way. Naoka was one of the more stubborn characters. Throughout the film, she was mostly under the impression that hatred was okay. In reality, hatred is a natural feeling humans develop among each other, no matter what. It is an unavoidable result of being human. Therefore, hatred is okay. However, acting on said hatred is where the line should be drawn. Letting hatred control your actions is not okay. Naoka acted on her own hatred, which made her seem like a hateful person on the surface. Her personality was clouded by the loathing she felt for Shoko, so none of the kindness and care that she buried deep within could actually show itself. She realized that Shoya's judgment of her was a result of that fact. After Shoya admitted to hating herself, she gradually began to realize that it was partially a result of the cloud of hatred that drowned out the rest of herself. She was naive to believe that hatred was okay, even if that hatred was the primary motive behind your every move. Towards the end of the movie, she chose to take a step forward out of that cloud of hatred, so that she could slowly regain the other parts of herself that she had lost. Naoka's, Shoko's, and Shoya's redemption arcs all show that no one falls far enough to be beyond redemption. No matter how horrendous a person's previous actions, they can always redeem themselves. But the redemption of the three characters also illustrates two other important themes. That seeking the redemption of your image in one other person's perspective is not true redemption, and that you must choose to take the first step in redeeming yourself. This is one of the few anime movies that I've watched with people in my life who would have otherwise refrained from watching anime in general. Around the time I first watched this movie, I knew instantly that it was something I had to show to as many people as possible. I watched anime a lot with my older brother, so convincing him to watch it with me wasn't difficult at all. When I brought it up to the rest of my family though, I was surprised to see that they were fairly open to the idea. The first part of the movie is very emotionally strenuous. In other words, it's not very easy to get through without at least choking up. The movie spits out nearly all of the heavy themes it covers in the beginning sequence. By the end of the movie, the beginning seemed more like a necessary part of the journey rather than a rough part of the movie. It caught my family's attention with the heavy themes and kept their attention with the modest yet beautiful story of redemption. This was the first anime I had ever watched with my whole family, and it was part of the reason for me gathering a group of friends together to binge a set of anime films. A Silent Voice was the second movie on our list, right after Your Name. Although we started the movie at around midnight, with our attention spans stretched to their limits, we were all still captivated by the movie and its wonderful characters. Unbeknownst to me, part of the reason I loved the movie so much was the fact that I had subconsciously related myself to Shoya. Before watching A Silent Voice, redeeming myself felt like a goal far out of my reach, a goal that would be pointless to strive towards. Whether I was aware of it or not, Shoya was a sign to me that redemption was something very attainable. It was something I could do completely on my own. I just had to decide to take the first step.